Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio, well, he's a man who says he sees things in the sky on a daily basis, and he recently shot something interesting down over the coast of Alaska. He's my co-host, Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, and I'm shooting down again. Whoop, whoop.
Pow pow. Or was it Canada?
Oh.
One of the two.
Well, if you listen to the news, you'll soon find out.
Well, all right, calm down. Thank you and welcome along to the show.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast. Ooh. So, whether you're a new listener or a repeat offender,
keep repeating.
Thanks for joining us for another week.
Yeah, another week again.
Another week, 202. We sound like a bus. Yeah, episode 202.
It is.
And we've got some UFO stuff this week.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've done UFO, and do you know what? With everything in the sky, stuff being shot down, stuff being, being over airspace and whatnot, we thought we might get into a bit of stuff in the sky business today. So this week we're going to be talking about an event that happened. This is a really far back UFO story. It's a mass sighting of a celestial phenomenon. Try saying that when you're pissed. Which is unidentified flying objects or UFOs, which occurred in 1561.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is pre anything in the sky. Yeah. Nothing's in the sky. Should be anyway.
No planes, helicopters, or automobiles.
Nothing. Superman. Nothing.
Yeah,
just birds at this point, right?
Yeah. Maybe
this is an incident that happened over Nuremberg. And, at the time was the free Imperial City of the Holy Roman Empire. Yeah. Interesting stuff. We'll be going into it a bit later on in the show. I feel like this is probably one of the earliest accounts of UFO phenomenon.
Yeah.
Well worth sticking around for.
Definitely.
For the rest of the show.
Yeah, it's been one of them ones that I've wanted to do for quite a bit, actually.
Well, there you go. You get to do it tonight. It's all gravy, baby.
It is.
That's coming up on the show shortly, plus this week's random events and world news. So that's well worth sticking around for. Also, we got stuff. Also, but maybe not. Maybe a bit of contradiction in terms. Have you actually ever got a question for you?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen something so amazing that if you hadn't had a witness to it, that no one would ever believe you?
Yeah.
And what was it?
I've said it before, but it was the.
I said it before, and I'd say it again.
The unidentified flying. Well, could it have been a planet? Summit.
An unidentified flying planet.
Possibly.
I do remember you telling me about this actually, about the story. So come on, refresh us again. So you were walking down the street.
Walking down the street in Ilford, and looked up in the sky, and me and my bro were like literally 2 doors away from going in. Looked up to the sky, and it was massive fucking object. It literally looked like a purple planet, Jupiter. Yeah,
just in the sky.
Yeah, literally. I don't know.
Was this pre-camera phone? Could you not get any photo evidence of it or anything?
Well, we ran into the house to get a Kodak to run back out to take a photo of it.
35mm.
Oh yes, good back in the day.
Get myself one of those Max Spielman's free development.
Yeah, ran back out. It'd gone, and it was like, did you see that? Yeah. So we discussed it, and it's still one of them things today where it's like.
It's interesting, isn't
really
it? Because
strange.
I always think that this is how people get reputations from being crazies and madmen, because they'll see something, but nobody's there to back them up.
Yeah, I even had a look for reports or anything like that. Anyone who I
think I've mentioned this on the show actually, but I think me and my mate were driving over like one of these sort of like motorway bridges. I don't know if anyone knows Manchester, but these are like a couple of bridges like that. One's called Barton Bridge, where it's a bit of a motorway bridge.
Yeah.
And there's another one towards like North Manchester. And we were coming over one of these bridges, and we both saw something in the sky. Can't be sure what it was, but it was like too much where we were traveling at the speed. Where once we started going over the other side of the bridge, it was out of view. So it was one of them where it was a split second. We both saw something, but we couldn't even describe what we saw to agree on what it was we saw.
Well, you both seen something.
Something, yeah. It was almost like a Zeppelin type thing, but it wasn't. There was no air balloons in the area. It was just a weird thing.
Okay.
But again, I couldn't tell you what it was or what it was. Nobody could tell you what it was. No. But at least somebody saw it with me. So yeah. How about you guys at home? Have you seen something so amazing that you rather didn't have a witness for?
Oh yeah.
And it's driving you mad because no one believes you.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah. Have you seen something that you happen to have a witness? Your best mate was with you, or a family member, or you got it on video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it still is it still unexplainable, or does it make you feel better knowing that you've got somebody to kind of like back you up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, tonight's story is heavily reliant on multiple sightings and people seeing amazing things, but amongst friends. There was more than one person who saw it. We'll be getting into it a bit later on in the show. Other than that, what have you been up to this week, Mr. T?
Just looking into a bit of ufology and just doing work, basically.
Doing the work, putting the work in.
Putting the work in, yeah.
I've had a weird week, yeah. Been working on some projects.
Yeah.
Got some stuff in the pipeline. But I think the biggest event that's happened to me this week, without a shadow of a doubt, was I bought a Cadbury's cream egg.
You just bought a cream egg and that was the biggest event of
no, it wasn't so much the buying of the Cadbury's cream egg that I found amazing.
Okay.
And I didn't have a witness to it, so no one can back me up.
All right.
So basically, I don't know if this has ever happened to you before. Yeah, right. So, or any of our listeners, because I bought a Cadbury's cream egg.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Now, some people don't even know what the stuff in the middle is. Yeah. Do you know what it is? Do you know what the goop's made out of, a Cadbury's cream egg?
Sugar and water.
Sugar,
glucose, yeah.
Probably water. Yeah, it's just sugar, basically. Yeah, a bit of food colouring, whatever. Yeah, a bit of egg.
Yeah, make it eggy looking.
It's probably got a bit of egg in it, right? Yeah.
Probably.
And it's fondant. Yeah. And people expect when you bite into a Cadbury's cream egg to find that goopy,
that little drippiness coming out,
goopy, eggy stuff inside, right? Mine was empty.
So someone's already licked your insides out?
No, there was no tampering. Seriously, right? It was the egg looked solid, yeah, right? And this has amazed me, yeah, right? Because I was like, this seems to be an anomaly. Where's the stuff in the middle of my egg, right?
So it's like a proper...
It was like a proper Easter egg, yeah, hollow in the middle, all in the middle, yeah, right?
Shit.
There was no leakage. The packaging was in perfect order, yeah. It's
just nothing in the middle.
They've obviously not gone through the good egg.
You might have had the $1 million egg.
And he ate it.
£1 million
Well, the thing was, a bit into it, realised there was nothing in it. And then part of my brain was like, do I take a photo or do I send this back to Cadbury?
Yeah, I want my insides.
No, it's like that advert actually. Do you know when they win the $100,000 white chocolate egg or whatever, where they go, but then it's like, oh well, I've unwrapped it now. I kind of want to eat it.
Yeah, I like white chocolate.
Oh, that was me. Yeah. I just went, fuck it, and just ate it. Well, Cadbury, if you're listening, you owe me some middle of an egg.
Yeah, forget the egg, forget the chocolate. You just want the middle.
I just want the fondant, please. Yeah. If you can post that to me,
and then you can get another egg, and you can have it on the outside, so you've got the chocolate in the middle of the fondant.
Don't be giving them ideas. Yeah. That'd be a sticky egg.
Oh yeah, it would actually.
Imagine a Cadbury's fried egg. Like, but
I bet someone's tried it.
No, not like do it frying a Cadbury's cream
Newcastle. Newcastle will probably do it next.
Scotland deep fry everything, don't they? If it's Mars bars, pizzas, burgers.
Yeah,
they take food that's already cooked and deep fry that.
I know. Hey, but if it works,
deep fried plates,
if it's nice,
cups, cutlery, whatever you want.
Yeah,
I love Scotland. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but you do bring it on yourselves. You advertise this in your own chippies.
Yeah, that's true.
They actually put up in signs, and I've seen this. So don't tell me they don't. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. They put up a sign saying, "Bring in what you've got. We'll fucking deep fry it for you."
I've got a shoe, eh?
Deep fried pizzas.
Ah, no,
crazy times.
frying
Anyway,
isn't
heart
that good,
attack.
Yeah, exactly. It's
bottle.
a heart attack in a bottle.
Well, tonight's topic, it's actually in a book. It's actually been noted and talked about in a book called Flying Saucers, A Modern Myth, or Things Seen in the Sky, which was released in 1969 and then again in 1979. I'll be leaving a link in the description to that, which is a lot of information about flying saucers pre-flying machine, things that have been, reported on throughout the years. If you would like a free Audible trial, you can go and sign up to that. Audible is a great way for new customers to try audiobooks and make the most of every moment.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you're kipping, sat in the garden, having a bath, doing your bits.
When you're
whatever,
relaxing.
commuting.
Yeah.
There's always time to get a chapter in. With your free trial, customers will receive one free book of their choice to keep in their library, even if you cancel. Prime customers will receive 2 audiobooks every month. You can choose from the largest selection of audiobooks, including bestsellers, new releases, sci-fi, romances, mysteries, classics, and more. And after 30 days, you will receive 1 book every month for just $7.99. Or just do the trial and cancel.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
You can, like I say, there's plenty of books there. If you want to go down the Aleister Crowley route and start researching some of his stuff, you can totally get a few of his books. Or check out some Flying Saucer stuff.
There's plenty out there.
I did actually find that, say, there was one other thing I was meant to bring up about Aleister Crowley last year.
Oh, yeah.
Last week.
Year, yeah, I was going to say.
And it was basically his mate Victor, right? While he was, they went over to France.
Yeah.
And he was in the middle of a ritual, and he said to Victor, I want you to, come and get involved. And he couldn't perform, right? So it meant that, like, the ritual didn't work properly.
This
right?
is sexual,
because Aleister Crowley said that whilst in the midst of it all, he did see a god, and he said that there was going to be a great war because they fucked up the ritual. And then a week later, World War I started.
So you think it's that?
No, they blamed Victor.
They blamed Victor for it.
Anyway, that was last week.
Naughty boy.
So, I'll leave a link in the description to an Audible free trial, and also the link to A Modern Myth of Things Seen in the Sky.
Yeah,
a paperback there. Really interesting stuff. So
it is.
I'd recommend you check it out.
It's got good psychology on it.
This week, like I say, we're going to be talking about UFOs. Particularly this event that happened in
Nuremberg.
In 1561, right? To me, is like
long time ago.
Well, it is a long time ago, right? And if you think about how things were, this is like jester times. You've got medieval times, I'd say. And even though there was newspapers and like broadsheets and like ways of getting the information around locally, right? It was very primitive, and the way that they had to print there was no photographs, so anything was that was like needed a picture would be illustrated, and to print that many illustrations, you need to literally carve a wooden block, right? So this story happened on
the 14th
of April in 1561, and it was a mass sighting of a celestial phenomenon of unidentified flying objects. It occurred over Nuremberg, which at the time was called the Free Imperial City of the Holy Roman Empire, and mostly people kind of today would poo-poo it. They'd say, "Oh, there's not really much evidence for it." It was. There's a lot of skeptics who kind of like have negative things to say about it and dismiss it.
Totally.
Like I say, if you go into the writings of Carl Jung, who is the author of the mythical flying thing seen in the sky book, he would disagree, because he's like an expert in, say, mid-20th century writings about the subject. I
think a lot of ufologists as well agree with him.
Well, he likely says that it could be a sundog.
Yeah, but you know what? The problem with this sundog is, with me, is the colour.
Go on. So what is a sundog? Do you know what a sundog is?
Yeah, sundog is when the sun's out, but there's a lot of ice crystals within the atmosphere.
That's right,
and it makes it look like there's like a circle within a circle.
Yeah, so it basically appears as a pair of subtly coloured patches in the sky, basically, yeah. So he thinks that this could have been like a sundog. These... A lot of people
with other.
But the thing is, there
the
was so many people who witnessed this. Apparently, that you know, the idea that a sundog is something that you could look up in the sky and you'd see it. It wouldn't move about. It'd just be stationary. You just see a phenomenon, like much like that city in the sky, like over the ocean, you know, in China. Where it was witnessed by a lot of people. But it wasn't doing anything. It was just there. It was a mirage of such, right? So the idea that this phenomenon was a sundog suggests that not much was happening, but from the stories,
that there was a lot happening.
It suggests there was way more than the saying was happening.
It starts between 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so you tell us what you know about it.
It started when the crack of dawn, roughly around about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. It carried on for just over an hour, and then basically these objects turned up like one by one, and then you had like globes, you had small and large rods, which back in the day, rods were also called like for cannons, because these objects were firing orbs out of it.
Okay, so what do you think that these were projectiles, or do you think that they were like drones or smaller ships coming out of leaving because they had some sort of some maneuverability, I should imagine. Apparently, from witnesses, mainly men and women of Nuremberg who saw the event, described it as an aerial battle. They described the crafts from emerging from the sun by appearing in large black triangular shaped objects, which then basically fell from Earth. Fell to Earth. It was almost like described as a spark of fire fall into the sky, out of the sky.
Because
but obviously, it seems like it made a rapid descent to Earth. You know, from wherever it was traveling from. It was a large black triangular object, and it was basically exhausted combination of spheres falling down to Earth from the clouds of smoke.
Just before this black item arrived, and the thing was, there was crosses as well, so it went kind of really religious on that part. And another thing.
Well, let's face it. So you're a local to Nuremberg, right? You've never seen anything flying in the sky other than nature, right? So, regardless of whether you saw crosses, circles, spheres, tubes,
stripes, there was
arrows,
as well.
Any types of different things. I mean, think about Star Wars, and you've got like an aerial battle. You've not just got one type of ship fighting another type of ship. It's an armada made up of whoever they can get hold of, whoever's got a plane that's sufficient enough to fly. It's all different crafts, all fighting for a cause, right? So to say, you've got all these different shapes in the sky, they could have all been different crafts, or they could have all been parts of craft that have maybe exploded, and these fireballs, these spheres, these sort of like pipes and construction of this ship raining down on them, could be the difference between a lot of objects and maybe one object that's exploded. So maybe there was only a couple of ships fighting, and one of them was taken out, which meant that there was a lot of this debris. Now, from my perspective as a local, I'm not going to be able to distinguish what a bit of debris is from the actual ship, because it all looks foreign to me. I've got no frame of reference.
Yeah.
So how do I know that all these orbs and stuff and like pipes and tubes and bits and pieces that were allegedly seen weren't just debris from a bigger craft that was destroyed? Do you know what I mean? So it looks like a battle in the sky, but you imagine blowing up a plane in the sky. Yeah, right. I don't recommend you do that.
No.
But like, you know, you'd see a fireball, which could be arguably the sun. Like, you know, this flash of light coming from the direction of the sun, and then all this debris emerging from it. You could mistake that for multiple objects doing stuff. It actually says
but it's going in and out, wasn't it?
Well, no, because it just says that they were so there was odd-shaped objects all moving erratically overhead. So I mean, erratically doesn't mean, you know, that they were manoeuvring. They were acting erratic. Yeah, and falling debris would act erratically. It'd fall in any which way it fell based on its shape, size, weight, you know, all those type of factors. I'm not saying that that's definitely what it was, but when I see this image, now, there is an image, because even though it is 1561, a broadsheet newspaper article printed an article which described the mass sighting, and also they printed an engraving and text by Hans Garza, which measured 26.2 centimeters by 10.3 inches, which is about 38 centimeters. And it had a drawing capturing the event, and how it looks is there's a sun, with all these kind of like objects sort of emerging from them, like kind of what look like solar flares coming out of the sun. And then, like you say, all these crazy shapes, you know, cylinders, crosses, circles, spheres. And then the only differing factor to that is one large ship, which looks like a spear. Yeah, right.
Which comes after these, all of them fall from the sky.
Okay, but that makes me think that was just the other one that blew the other one up.
That's
there was
what
two ships and one's been blown up.
Yeah, except for when they crash to the land, there's loads of smoke, but there's no debris.
Yeah, so because I asked it, so like, why wouldn't you kind of try and recover some of this debris, especially in the Dark Ages? You know, I
still think they may be still there, because it didn't. The debris did not hit inside Nuremberg; it just outside the city. But they landed on the east side, but yet this spear come in and was pointing to the west.
Okay.
Which was, and another thing to it as well is disregard all the colours, because the colours that were actually on the day was blood red and black.
Okay,
but majority were blood red.
I suppose, like, when it comes to printing, they only had sort of like a colour palette to work with, and like if they were trying to,
and it makes it a little bit more,
because it does kind of look like that sort of the artwork of the day as well, doesn't it? And I suppose if that's what he's used to carving in, but yeah, there were a few blood red crosses, between which there was a blood red stripes, becoming thicker at the rear and the front, than the front. So yeah, there was kind of like the coloration of it seemed quite drastic as well. I think.
But it was
they were started to fight amongst themselves, so that the globes were the first from the sun, and flew out into the basic out and about.
It seems like they flew away and flew back. Or the sun
that seems
was
to think
an
that
object.
they are actually. Yeah, I think the sun might have been something else obscuring the view of the sun.
Yeah, I think it was just the sun coming up, because it was like the crack of dawn, and it went on for an hour. So you're talking like, you know, that's going up for an hour, so it's not that far. You know what I mean? It's still roughly in the same area. It's not like you got, you know, if it was like 10 hours, then you'd notice it totally disappear.
I mean, so if you were a local, and this was happening, what would you think it was about? What would you think was happening? Because let's face it, I mean, technology-wise, they were nowhere with technology.
Yeah.
So anything flying, anything that was kind of displaying that type of power, would you say it was kind of like, you know, religious or some sort of god, or, you know, spiritual? What would your impressions be? I'm just a naive,
From what I've
dude who lives
had
in a
look, it looks like it's one of two things. One, it's a mold that actually gets onto the crop, and when it gets ingested, it makes people, visualize. It makes them ill, basically, makes them stoned. Or two, which is the probable one, is the church has grabbed hold of this and put it as we've been wicked. That's why you've got crosses there. We've been naughty. God's telling us, sort your shit out, and I'm going to give you a bit of a whipping, and then go away, and hopefully I won't have to do this again, because the churches did actually use it.
Well, I mean, the carving's actually just been put down as modern culture. Yeah, so it's not actually seen in any religious way or as a religious phenomenon.
Well, it was a big religious time, no.
They said it was more likely a natural phenomenon than a religious one. Military interpretations say it was if the UFOs were living organisms, one would think that swarms of insects being in the sun do not fight each other, but to make
passionate love.
Well, basically, like to make a marriage, not a fight. Do you know what I mean? Not to fight or whatever. Like, so.
Yeah, but then they're not going to crash to the ground and smoke and then disappear. You know what I mean? It's
like, hey, baby, do you want a cigarette?
Yeah.
So do you think this was like a big sort of
was it a mirage?
mating ritual?
I'm thinking, is there possibly a mirage from that single black sphere of something, like disco lights, but in their version, showing them, going away, like the objects, the globes going away, coming back, clacking to each other, going back into this. And then all of a sudden they drop to the ground, smoke, nothing there. Because because if it did happen, there has to be still something there just outside Nuremberg.
Well, yeah,
why hasn't anyone gone out and tried
metallic or some sort of metal? But then again,
even chemical elements.
Going into the military side of it, if it was military, you said it before, they'd interpret the tubes as cannons, the spheres as cannonballs.
Yeah.
So the idea that this was a war or a battle would have suggested some sort of debris. I mean, why would these sort of entities come and fight over Earth and then just disappear straight after?
Well,
not even explain themselves. Do you know what I mean? It's an interesting one because we did actually find another similar story, right?
Not that far apart.
Not very far apart at all. So, it's quite an interesting one because
Switzerland.
Yeah, it was in Switzerland. So it's the 1566 celestial phenomenon over Basel. Yeah. And this was another series of mass sightings of celestial objects that occurred on 1566 above Switzerland.
3 massive ones, apparently.
So again, it was an unusual sunrise and sunset. The phenomenon was said to have kind of come from the sun. There was numerous red and black balls in the sky before the sunrise, and then reported to they reported it like, obviously it's been reported as like a meteorological event and a historic event.
Yeah.
The phenomenon has been interpreted by some ufologists as a sky battle. So it's very similar in terms of what the witnesses saw. It was witnessed again by multiple people.
Yeah.
There was an article published in the broadsheet with an image of a wood carving depicting what actually happened.
Yeah, that's right.
Similar things being cited, right? Yeah. Again, before internet, before computers, before phones, before communication. Yeah. 5 years apart, a very similar incident happens. I mean, do you think that's like a copycat or a reporter who's read that article, who's taken an interest in it.
Anything. I think more happened in Switzerland because there was supposed to be 3 big events there. But the Nuremberg one has more information.
Yeah, so basically there was 3 events. So the event is reported to have taken place in Basel, Switzerland in 1566, according to Samuel Crocus. The events happened on the 27th, the 28th of July and the 7th of August.
Yeah,
many locals reported seeing celestial phenomenons,
squadrons of
stuff in the sky, an unusual sunrise, the second as a total eclipse of the moon, and a red sun rising.
Yeah, that's.
I see a red sun rising.
Red is a kind of.
I can see those orbs over the way.
Red seems to be like a kind of clue.
Oh wow!
That like. Seems to be the object of like needs more looking into.
Well, what they said was this is a Switzerland one. So on the 27th of July, after the sun had basically started getting warm in a clear sky, it was a bright sky, really nice morning. Then around 9 p.m, it suddenly took a different shape and colour. First, the sun lost its radiance and lustre, and it was no bigger than a full moon. Then finally it seemed to weep a tear, and blood was in the air, and it all went dark. And then it seemed to be all the people in the city and the countryside came out in much the same way to see wanted to see this moon, which was already being almost full and in the sky. So this was basically one of the almost a blood red colour in the sky. The next day on the Sunday, the sun rose about 6 o'clock in the morning, and then did the same in appearance. So like there was obviously something going on there with the sun and the moon.
Yeah, and don't forget all these episodes as well of what happened. There was cloudless days.
Yeah, so then...
They were nice days.
So these were nice days, yeah. So, like, and then, like I said, everybody hit the streets, and then we're looking up. Everything was, like, a blood red and fiery. At dawn on the 7th of August, we saw a large black sphere coming down and going with great speed before the sun, and then cleared as it led a flight. Many of them were fiery red and soon crumbled.
Yeah, they couldn't.
Then extinguished.
Yeah.
But then again, that kind of makes me think, like, so the way that it's described these orbs, that they were falling to the earth.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So it sounds like a meteorite.
It does sound like a meteorite, but it also sounds like what I was saying earlier. Yeah, wreckage. Yeah. So if wreckage is on fire, it's burning, but then it's falling to earth, right? It's going to burn up. It's going to kind of like extinguish itself before it hits the ground. If it's just a ball of, I don't know, could be anything. It doesn't necessarily mean metal. Yeah, it could be a fabric or like a chair or anything that is flammable, is destroyed in an explosion. And then it's like, look at kind of when buildings get blown up, and then there's always debris and stuff floating down on fire.
It sounds like it's in the atmosphere, not outside the atmosphere.
It might be, but...
And if it's inside the atmosphere, you won't get that reaction. Well, it's only when it's outside the atmosphere.
Well, if it's outside the atmosphere, if anything's falling to Earth, it'd break up in our atmosphere, which means that there wouldn't be anything left to find.
But then you'll get a lot more people seeing it. A lot more around. You've seen most of Europe seeing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's located over a specific country.
And that tells me it's got to be
it's in lower Earth atmosphere.
So
if anything, say you've got 2 ships and one gets blown up, and then all the shrapnel starts falling to Earth.
Yeah.
From my perspective, who doesn't know any better? Again, no frame of reference, right? Anything that's falling from the sky that's on fire is unusual.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So if it's falling from the sky and then it distinguishes, that says to me that's what something on fire, a bit of debris, would do. It'd fall from the sky, it'd distinguish itself, and then just disappear. Yeah, right. into smoke or whatever, and all the kind of the explanations about disintegrating or going up in a puff of smoke indicates to me that this is remnants of something that was there. Not twigs, but part of a craft that has been destroyed.
Yeah, but no, I can't accept that, and the reason why I can't accept that,
literally cannot accept a word I say.
No,
so
I just can't accept that because of the weakness of the object that's coming down.
I'm talking
the material.
about. Well, look, right. Let's look at the facts, right? It's nothing. I don't know what they're made of. I don't know. Literally, don't know what they're made of. But let's look at the evidence from the people who were there, right? Yeah. They saw a big black arrow craft, right? The biggest craft of them all, right?
Yeah.
They also saw a load of little things coming out of or flying around erratically, falling through the sky, on fire or not. Yeah, right. And just basically fall into nothing. They couldn't find any evidence to suggest they were there or anything like that. So
but they were doing stuff before they
fell. That's what I'm saying. You're not listening, right? You've got two options there. You've got that they were drones or other ships and there was literally a battle. Yeah, right? Who they were battling themselves, I don't know, right? Because as far as I'm concerned, right, there's...
we do, so why can't others?
Well, who were they fighting? That's what I'm getting at. Who are each other?
Could be the same race. It's just an argument between.
That's one, right.
Group.
But what I'm saying is, if it makes more sense for all these little bits and pieces to be broken parts of a bigger ship, So if you've got two ships run into each other, one blows the other up, bit piratey, but that's the way they do it. Yo ho ho, shiver me timber, They're blowing them up out of the sky, All this shit falls from the sky. As a layman doesn't know anything, oh, well, that's multiple things in the sky. I'm not going to say any more than that. I can't say any more than that,
Well, it took an hour, over an hour.
So what do you think it is?
It has to have been something that has stayed in the sky for over an hour. And
but that's what I'm saying.
If you have wreckage, the wreckage wouldn't just... it wouldn't take an hour to fall, especially from lower orbit.
The whole event might have lasted an hour. Who said that each individual item was in the sky for an hour?
Well, there was bits coming up, and don't forget, bits were moving
descriptions
around.
Of the event said that there was a large ship, and loads of other things in the sky as well. Right, So... I don't know what any of them were. I can't say for 100% sure that any of them were, but it was weird because for that time of time period, there shouldn't have been anything in the sky, right? Yeah. So let's just agree that whatever it was, it shouldn't have been there, right?
Yeah.
So what's more likely, right? You've got it's gods, sending wrath. And smiting the people from down below, which actually didn't get any smiting because they just witnessed it. They didn't get any, and there was no villages burning or anything like that.
Scared the shit out of
them, right? You've got the fact that it could be two separate species fighting or the same species fighting, right? Or you've got, in fact, they're the options, aren't they? Right? Because at the end of the day, right? Regardless of whether it was multiple ships or two big ships and one of them got blown up, just logically says to me that is probably what the majority of the stuff they saw in the sky was, debris. And I mean, I don't know what guys think at home, let us know. But to be honest, it's like just based on the objects seen in the sky, it suggests that there was rather two big objects, one's been blown up, or there was a lot of little objects, and either way, none of them should have been there. So
there's also
I'm asking you, what do you think they were?
I think it was a battle between like either the same species or different species, and then after when the Black Spear turned up after all the other objects went down.
So this is what I'm getting at. So what would you think was more likely, right? I mean, let's face it, we don't even know if who's out there, what's out there, right? But what's more likely, one ship running into another, in a kind of like pirate sort of situation, right?
Cleaning up, man. They were the police force.
And just blowing them out of the sky, Yeah.
Well,
right?
let's say they're arguing over us.
Or a fucking full-on war with Star Wars-esque pure little TIE fighters flying around and X-wings and shit. Yeah. Are we going down that road? Because that is literally what you're describing.
That's how, to me, it's been described, that objects that we have no idea what is, playing around for an hour, destroying each other, bits coming on the ground, the bits are gone after a bit of smoke.
But that's what I'm saying. Smoke. How can you... So you've just
and
literally...
how come the target
you literally just said it,
well.
right? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just because those bits that fall into the ground aren't hanging around an hour, there's still stuff going up in the sky. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't necessarily mean every last item was in the sky for exactly an hour and it was witnessed all of the items were in the sky, because loads of them fell to the ground, right?
Yeah.
Which debris does. Anyway,
bit by bit.
Bit by bit.
But
depends on you.
There is a theory where you might like, actually, which it possibly could have been.
You're pushing my buttons tonight, you are.
Time distortion of, right, now, World War II, Foo Fighters, a lot of Foo Fighters around, yeah? Now, you could put them crosses as an aircraft reaching up, going up into the air.
So what you're trying to say is...
No, I'm not. It was a suspicion that
no, what you're trying to tell...
saying.
You're taking me too literal here, yeah, right? I'm asking you, what you're saying to me right now, yeah, is that these items in the sky could be visions of the future, yeah? A battle that takes place in World War II between pilots and in like fucking not jump jets, but like, you know, like Spitfires and whatnot, yeah, right? Fighting Foo Fighters.
Yeah, that's what someone's come up with, an explanation of what you may have been seeing as in the crosses. That. Because generally we don't see crosses as UFOs.
Well, we kind of, we don't, do we? Because we kind
of usually triangles.
Yeah, but we automatically look at planes as crosses because that's what we used to.
Yeah.
But if you think about like you know, as an aerodynamic method of travel, then it's not a bad one because we continue to use it. So why wouldn't another species adopt that sort of thinking as well? It's
well, in space you could have any kind of object, basically.
You could have a banana shape.
Yeah, exactly. You could
boomerang
have any
flying machine or
just as long as you got the right
little
propulsion.
freewheel van.
Yeah, little
whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well,
it's got to be well tucked in now.
So, bottom line on this, because he's getting us both a bit of hell this year, right? Because I mean, it's not even like we're disagreeing on the fucking thing. We're just disagreeing on what it could have been. Like, anyway, were the aliens fighting each other or blown up? Who knows? Well, it's an interesting one. I think in terms of kind of predating anything that we've kind of talked about before, it is one of those kind of that makes you think because, like I say, it's pre-technology. They obviously saw something, for that many people to kind of come forward, for them to print an article, to get a guy to carve a block out for fucking however many hours that took. Well, you know what I mean?
That's true.
And he obviously had a bit of passion in it to do that.
Yes.
As a witness. Yeah. So, I'm skeptical. I'm not sure because, like I say, I've got to be honest, this is, in terms of evidence, in terms of, like, imagery that's provided with a case, normally there's never that much, So to find a wood block print of the depictions of what happened that day, that's kind of like your first sort of clear UFO
and people took
images, to be honest.
People took it as a joke like they did in, like, the 90s and the early, the early years. But the guy who wrote it, Hans, he was actually well respected on the mystery stories that actually come out because he's had loads of actual broadsheets out there. It was just this one seemed to be the one. So can you count him as he's lying and made it up, or? Well,
no, because I think the guy was a journalist and just kind of reported on what things what he saw, and at the end of the day, in an age where, let's face it, we have miracles happen all the time in terms of science and where we go in the future. But back then, they were still kind of pioneering stuff. They were, in fact, more so because there was more to discover.
Yeah.
So, you know, all your medicine, alchemy, and all the rest of it, you know, printing, just at the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, in fact, the dawn of the Roman Empire, and...
weren't built in a day.
Well, exactly, it was a while, wasn't it? So, I mean... for
it come down in
for this information to be kind of put forward so early, that I feel like maybe there is something to it, but again, it's just so far back that again, it's so hard to say one way or another.
Yeah, but then you've got like you've searched into the other background ones, because I found one which is an Indian one, like 3,000 years ago. But you found
I found a few,
further.
but they were like I feel like these ones were really quite early, but they were all round about the same area, so around Rome, virtually the Roman Republic, Rome, Italy, and just basically that area.
But then again, they could be the only ones who report in that.
And that was kind of like every couple of years there was something seen. They were kind of rather seen as hoaxes or just kind of jokes. So basically, sparkles fell from the stars and grew as it descended until it appeared in the sky the size of a moon, then ascended back into the heavens and transformed into light. Was one parchment that was discovered, and that was in 76 BC.
See,
so there are depictions and evidence to suggest that we've been visited
really far back,
as early as we can even comprehend. You know, early as evidence suggests.
And you even get stuff now like
what's the word? They always say it like since records began.
Yeah, 1986.
Yeah, well, quite a while ago.
Well,
there's been ships in the sky going back to 2018 BC. Flames like wine jars in the sky in 74 BC. A sky army in AD 65. Angel hair, which was basically a fine rain of silver descended from a clear sky.
See, and you know, like Hans did like Red Rain and stuff like that as well, which we had not that long ago as well. Which
we kind of know the answer to that, India. Though, don't we? Yeah, because it's algae.
No, it actually has a protein in it. It actually has a living protein in it.
Oh, right, okay.
We still, to this day, do not know where it's come from.
There you go.
But it is.
I thought it was an algae. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I thought it was red algae because that would generally be the right answer for it.
Well, yeah, because in terms of like precipitation and stuff, and it just gets into the atmosphere. I mean, it's like when we get like here in the UK where people go, watch out, your car might need cleaning because it's sand from the Sahara. And you know we get it. It travels on the wind. I mean, it gets into the atmosphere and stuff like that. So. Why wouldn't, if this algae on water is evaporating into the air, that some of this might not get into it? I mean, anyway.
It is something else.
Well, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this week's. It's something to think about, and hopefully you might be able to put a bit more information our way if you know anything about this type of thing.
Or if you actually want to see the script itself, it's currently in Zurich in New Zealand Museum. Library, sorry. If you actually want to see the original.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll post the images on Instagram in the next couple of days anyway, so you can check them out and check it out for yourself. Yeah. But do your research. Go and check out the story, because it's an interesting one. And like I say, one of the oldest UFO accounts that we know of.
In Europe, yeah.
There you go. Boom. Do you know one thing I will say, though, is like, do you know, from the perspective of the guy on the ground in this story, they say about the objects were flying out of the sun. So, you know, think about with today's modern science, we know the idea that the sun's quite far away, and you can't really see the sun with the naked eye.
You don't want to either.
You don't want to. No. I mean, you burn your retinas.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
You fucking sparkle yourself out. So... You know, looking up into that sky, they must have thought, you know, as a perspective thing, that when objects were flying in front of the sun. Because, I mean, like, from 1561, I mean, how much about the sun did you know? I mean, as far as I was aware, they would be like, if I got a ladder, I could reach it.
Yeah, well, you've got some actual pictures.
There you go, you see. I can feel it's warm. Yeah. It mustn't be far. Yeah, right. So if I looked up and saw something go in front of it, disappear, and then come out the other side, I might think that it was, going in and out. Yeah. But then it could be going away and back as well. Maybe. Yeah, you don't know. And like I was saying to you earlier, like, the idea that anything could have been happening up there. There could have been an intergalactic space battle. It could have been. They could have been just an accident. They could have been like. They could have been one of these, like, they were on the intergalactic highway doing a delivery. Yeah, like these alien folk doing like a Kessel run. Yeah. Yeah, picking up, dropping off, all that. Yeah, right. And
abducting.
And as they were. We've seen it in Star Trek where, a rocket or an asteroid will hit a part of the ship and they have to jetten us a bit off.
Yeah, we know that's real.
That happens. Seen that in the movies. Yeah. So, who knows? It could have been one of a bajillion things going up there. But from the perspective of the people down on the ground, it's all based on known science. You don't know anything about, like, how far away the sun is, like, if you can see it with the things coming in and out of it with the naked eye. When was the telescope invented?
1609.
So a few years later, right? So at that point, it was all just kind of like speculation on knowledge they had and kind of being able to liken it to something that they'd already witnessed previous. Like, so, if it was like nothing they'd ever seen before, they'd try to make it like they'd go, if you witnessed, work it out like themselves. I said to you earlier about, is there anything that you've witnessed that was so unbelievable that if, you hadn't have had a witness with you or somebody to back you up, that nobody would believe you?
Being a psycho.
So this is the point, I feel like, with the idea that if you saw something and you had no frame of reference, would you then try and describe it the best way you knew how? And you'd liken it to things that were already in your vocabulary, wouldn't you? You'd be like, it was like why do you think we call them flying saucers? Yeah. Because it reminds people of, like, that kitchen, implement, plate. Flying saucer. Yeah, a saucer, right? Yeah. So you'd technically be like, well, I've never seen anything like it, but it was kind of like this, right? Yeah. So, they've only got kind of, like, very little to go on. So it's a very weird one because without knowing what was actually going on up there, we can't really say one way or the other. I mean,
I still think there's going to be some.
I kind of like the idea
of evidence.
Rogue leader, red one. I'm slutty. Dennis Hopper, blue velvet. That type of thing going on, where these literally like gun battles and the pew pew.
Yeah, that
would have been awesome.
Yeah, because if you think about
it, if they would have brought it down like pod racing and did a bit of low level ground assault as well, that we could have got a bit more clarification.
Oh yeah,
but they didn't do that, did they? They kept it in a dogfight aerial battle.
Yeah,
and there you go, kept it all hush hush.
Bastards.
I wanted to see some pod racing type stuff going on, like some ground level assault.
I want someone from Nuremberg to actually go and have a look at just outside their city to see if
with a metal detector.
Fine. No, because it not necessarily had to be because it faded away in smoke. Then it could be down to chemical, not necessarily.
Well, this is what I was trying to get on about, like debris, because like I would say I'd hazard a guess that if it was a ship, that it'd be made up of different materials. Different materials. Yeah,
and I'd expect hard materials myself. Though.
Well, some hard, some for comfort and luxury, and whatever. You might have some parts for insulation, which might burn at quite a fast rate or creating orbs in the sky. Who knows? This is the thing. It's all speculation. So much to go on.
It could have been a living ship.
Oh, see, again, we're going. You see, you can't. It's the realms of possibility are endless with this one. Yeah. This is quantum mania to the max. So, I think we kind of move on from this now, anyway. Yeah. Because we have got plenty to talk about, and we've got the news right now. It's the news! Hurrah, hurrah for the news. we have got lots of news today.
We have.
I'm going to kick off the news with...
Kick it off.
You see, I love this band, right? Yeah, there's a band, I don't know if you've heard of them, called OK Go.
Okay.
Yeah,
No.
they do great music videos,
All right.
Yeah, and I think most people, if they know the band OK Go, they'd agree that they're very artistic. They have some great ideas.
They're okay
They do
and they
things. They're okay. They go places, right?
Yeah.
And they do come up with some pretty innovative ideas for their music videos,
Okay.
all the creative endeavors, right?
It's not the ones who, like, on the trikes and that, and they do
Yeah,
all
that's
that.
the guys. Yeah.
Right, yeah, I like their stuff, actually.
They do
Yeah.
some poppy type tunes. I mean, the tunes are kind of not everyone's taste, but
Yeah,
the videos
yeah.
are really good.
The videos are really good, yeah.
They're really clever
tunes
how they do it. I mean, like I say, you're into your rap and everything, so you're
Yeah.
probably not your taste, but
I've got a mixture.
they are in the midst of a lawsuit at the moment, and I thought you'd find this interesting because you like your law.
I do.
But responding to a post by to Post Foods, yeah,
Right.
which who have taken the band to court over the name.
Oh, they're suing them.
Yeah, so basically the situation is this Post Foods have released a breakfast cereal on the go, like a snack pot.
Yeah.
Breakfast cereal thing that you can buy for busy people on the go.
Yeah.
Now I get the go bit. Yeah.
Okay.
So I understand where they were going with the marketing. Yeah. But they've released their cereal as OK Go. Right. Yeah. That's the name they've decided to use. But not only that, they've put in the marketing in the copy.
Yeah.
Time to rock and roll with their new cereal, right? Which implies rock music,
and roll.
the band
Yeah.
OK Go, and some sort of affiliation or tie with them, yeah?
Yeah.
The band have had no sort of tie with these guys. They've got no affiliation with them, but they've, and credit to the guys, they've sent the cereal company, as the food company, a cease and desist. They've said, listen, we've been using this name for 25 years. Can you not call your cereal something else?
Right.
Yeah, right. Because
nicking our future
you're
payments.
You're basically implying that you've got some sort of connection.
Yeah.
It's not really fair. Can you stop doing it? Which Post Foods replied with a sue. They're suing them, right?
Counter sue, it's cheaper.
Well, this is the thing, yeah. They can counter sue now, which is cheaper, right? And they'll probably save them.
I think they're going to win.
Of course he will. I mean, they've been using it at 25 years. They've had millions of views on YouTube for the videos. They've sold millions of albums. People have been to see them worldwide. Yeah. They're known in all the countries around the world for the music. They've done innovative stuff. Yeah, right? More innovation than what you'd find in a pot of fucking cereal.
Yeah.
Like, let's face it. Yeah, right? So... Good luck to the guys at OK Go.
I think it's going to be an
hopefully it'll be an easy lawsuit. It's not what you need, though, is it?
No, it's all that money expenditure.
It's a bit of a piss take. I was saying, though, like, about, our name, podcast, the podcast name.
Yeah.
We've got a kind of a quite interesting one there because it's a phrase that is quite often Googled, right?
Yes, yeah.
And, if someone was to kind of come up and say, we're going to use that.
Oh, no.
Oh, mate, you'd get a cease and desist faster than you could put up your pants.
Oh, yeah.
Faster than you could say fucking...
Writing you off.
Zip Van Waller.
Yeah. Send the boys round.
Oh, mate, the boys will be round, trust. Have you got any news for us?
I have, actually.
I have. Well, I just fucking hope so as well. Do you know, this stage in the game?
Well, you know that poor woman who's gone missing, the dog walker?
That poor dog. That is harsh, actually. Yeah, sorry, I didn't realise that's what you were talking about. But the woman who's gone missing. There's been quite a lot of speculation to what's happened with her. Maybe she's fell in the lake or the river. Has anything happened? Has she turned up yet?
No, sadly not. But there's an actual guy turned up called Don Johns. And he said on the same day, 75 years ago, his brother went missing there as well. Now,
okay.
I first.
Now this
thought,
is a sensitive thing, so I mean, it's a bit of a weird one for somebody to come out with. Was it legit? Did his brother genuinely disappear there?
His 16-year-old brother. He did it by an accident. He was riding a bike and had an accident and went into the water.
Right. Okay.
But was never found. But then 2 months later was, because at the minute it's been hard to
Wait a minute.
try and find.
So basically, if there's a current or something in that river that you know, I'd start looking where that boy was found.
Well, the search teams are already out there. They've already been looking up and down the river. They're still working at it now.
Yeah.
But it might be a little time.
I just hope that she turns up. I mean, it's a shame. I think the world's a bit of a rough place at the minute. I mean, there's a lot going on in the world. I mean, not despite this incident, but like.
Her text has actually come out today, what her last text was before she actually went missing, and it was to her friend making plans.
I will say, though, and I don't mean to be kind of like in any sort of like negative, because I do hope that she's found.
Yeah.
I will say one thing that I did find quite humorous was when the boyfriend came on the news and he says, I want them to search every outhouse, every hen house, outhouse, dog house.
Did he?
But he virtually did, yeah. I'm not even shitting you. He came out on the news and he's talking to the reporter and he says, I won't be satisfied. I know, but this is what I'm saying. I found this a little bit quite humorous. I hope I'm not the only one. But he turned around and said, I'm not going to be satisfied unless they search every house, garage, outhouse, hen house, and I just went, a fugitive's name is Dr. Richard Kimball. Like, honestly, it'll be on you. I'm sure it'll turn up eventually, that clip. But
let's hope she does as well.
Yeah, totally do.
Yeah.
Moving on. It's been Groundhog Day, apparently.
Yes,
it was on the 2nd of February, which we were a bit late on, but the Groundhog Day ceremony said that it was going to have what?
It was going to have
6 more weeks of winter.
Yeah. Oh, well.
And the Punxsutawney Phil never lies. You were saying that you wouldn't be surprised if they did a remake of Groundhog Day, the movie.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, you know.
Have you not seen that they've made a stage musical of the film?
Leave the musicals alone.
They just literally, it's like, I'm waiting for like
but it'd have to be good.
Goonies, the musical. I mean, they've done Back to the Future.
Well, but I don't know if it'd be good,
I found this treasure map.
Not like the original, but
Sloth on a baby roof.
Few people would be good, like let's say him who plays Deadpool. I think he'd be the good character.
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. In what?
In Groundhog Day, the remake.
A Groundhog Day remake. You see, I wouldn't do a remake. I would say more like another reporter, like and it's like a phenomenon that only happens in Punxsutawney, where you've got like say Ryan Reynolds or maybe a woman this time. Is a weather girl or a weatherman. They've gone to, because I mean it's an annual event, so news companies, news places send reporters out yearly. I mean, even Phil says in the first film, he says, you know, this is the 4th or 5th time I've covered it. It's the same thing every year. Already foreshadowing the fact that there's a repetitive thing happening. The fact that they do this every year, like,
that's true.
And there's some sort of kind of like, you know, it's a tradition. So potentially you could have it where another person goes to Punxsutawney on Groundhog Day and then gets sucked into their own little thing. Having a remake might be a bit too
I think it might be
on the money.
I think
whereas
it'd be a
like
good idea for
a sequel of such, where it's a different cast but different lessons to be learned, you know, see what happens. But yeah, it's one of those, isn't it?
Oh, now, have you heard about what happened on Friday over Alaska?
I have actually, yeah.
Supposedly, a UFO has been shot down by the American government.
Yeah, well, not only, I mean, they did get shot down, and the thing was, right, because we had the problem where there was a air balloon from China, which they reckoned was just a weather balloon doing a bit of science, right?
Which they've been watching for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, what more from the weather are they going to glean from that balloon? I mean, I just don't feel like that's exactly what it was. And I think, like, the American government actually knew that it was more than just a weather balloon. They claimed that it was some sort of spy balloon.
Yeah, because they're doing threats now over that now.
Well, yeah, it's caused a load of problems. It's caused a bit of a kick-off. But, I mean, now, Joe Biden was a bit kind of put on the fence for not acting quick enough when it came to, shooting down this object.
Yeah.
So when this next object was seen over Alaska...
Yeah.
He wasted no time. He dived straight on it and he blew it up.
So he should.
So what... But, I mean... They've now said that this wasn't a weather balloon. They don't know what it is. So what do you think? Do you think this
no idea.
is a UFO? Do you think that this is what they should have been doing when seeing UFOs in the first place, instead of just trying to track them? Yeah.
Well, I do know they have made a weapon that is fast moving to actually shoot objects like that.
Well, this is the thing, because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I know that pilots say that they maneuver with kind of precision and, like, in ways that they can't comprehend, and they're way better than they can maneuver.
Yeah.
So is it a case of that all they can do is track them, and, if they get a shot, then wicked, but if they can't, it's just a case of see where they go? Because it's interesting that they never actually have attempted to just shoot these phenomena down, but... Then again, if it is something like a species from another planet, I mean, it's not exactly a good relationship, is it?
It's a bullet in your
icebreaker.
ass. Yeah.
But it's funny you should say that, because obviously with the incident that happened over Alaska, yesterday, another incident happened over Canada.
Oh.
And Canada shot down a UFO.
Jesus.
So this was another UFO in Canadian airspace just one day after a similar incident in Alaska.
Say, when's the next one?
So
when we gonna shoot one down?
So I know, yeah, we want one.
Yeah.
So it came one day after the US President Joe Biden ordered the fighter jet to shoot down the unidentified flying object. It was a high altitude object as well.
Yeah.
Off Alaska. And then literally a week before, the spy balloon was shot down over the US. Canadian has shot down an unidentified flying object after it entered its airspace. The country's prime minister said it came a day after the president of the USA ordered the fighter jet to shoot down the high altitude. Just keep repeating themselves, don't they, on these articles? Do you know what? I can write the same sentence 5 times, 5 different ways as well.
I know.
I think I could get published in the Mirror.
Yeah, well, all you have to do is talk bollocks, and then put the actual right article in right at the middle or the bottom.
Well, the tweet, a tweet from Justin Trudeau wrote, "I ordered the takedown of the unidentified object that violated Canadian airspace. I'm awesome."
Yeah, for the first time ever. How many times you've been violated?
I mean, I'm wondering, like, is this the first sort of, like, strike from Canada ever?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've seen Canada ever raise so much as a...
He slipped and fell on the button. That's what happened.
And did they shoot him down and go, "Sorry about that"?
Yeah, it was an accident. Sorry.
We're sorry. I mean, like, I love the Canadian people. Love Canada.
I would have loved to live over there.
But yeah, now I feel like this is the actual first act of aggression from Canada ever.
Watch out.
There you go. Fucking
they're switching, man.
Oh, seriously. It's like Weird Al Yankovic when he does, like, he does his version of American Idiot, and he says, like, but it's, I don't want to be a Canadian idiot. And he's like, I feel like, a bit kind of weird and looming over us because they're above them. Yeah. And it's like they should start a preemptive strike before Canada gets too big.
Well,
for the British. I mean, in Canada, I think if you're going to shoot down alien crafts, let us know what they are.
Exactly, we need to know whatever that was, because it could be anything from meteorite to, like, spy plane.
And I mean, being a progressive country such as Canada is, I'd hope that they went, we shot down a UFO. Here's the alien pilot.
Yeah,
his name's Greg.
Yeah, and
say hello, Greg. Beep beep beep. Sorry. Anyway, beep beep. What else have we got?
Have you heard about Argentina's just done a load of massive raids at the minute on a gang that was bringing in Russian pregnant women to get passports and
you're funny, you are. He's so fun. He's so full of fun. No, I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, I just heard about it.
So what were they doing? They were
basically gangs were bringing in Russian pregnant women so they could come in, give birth, and then
claim residency into where?
Into Argentina.
All right.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing.
Big raid over the last couple of days.
I feel like as a Russian citizen, would you not want to kind of get out of Russia at the moment? If you were, depends if you were patriotic or not. If you kind of bought the Kremlin's kind of rhetoric, but
true, but to me, it's still on the market of human trafficking.
Yeah, of course it is. I think that's highly illegal and highly questionable.
It seems to be getting more and more of it about, and less the governments finding the powers to stop it.
Yeah, true that.
You know what I mean? So it's about time, they got in and kicked a few doors down and done some bloody good work.
Get some work done.
Yeah.
I've got this story about a lawyer, solicitor, lawyer, whatever you want to call him, who was accidentally shot by his own gun.
Oh.
So he failed to remove it after going into a hospital MRI room.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you go into one of these rooms, they're like a big electromagnet, aren't the MRIs? He decided to keep his gun on him. Maybe it was because, whoever was in the machine was a suspect, and he felt like he needed to be armed in case the guy...
never thought of that.
Never went for, to try and escape or whatever. Felt like he needed his gun. Obviously... the MRI machine was switched on, and it actually cocked, shot, and fired his gun, shooting himself.
Pinky.
I don't know exactly where he was shot. So the 40-year-old said that he'd failed to tell the hospital workers that he had the gun on him after being told to remove any metal objects.
Fucking hell, man.
Oh, silly man. I don't know if that's his own fault.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah,
I'd say so, yeah.
It's like Cheddar Bob. I got shot with my own gun. Who does that?
What kind of idiot does
Who gets shot with their own gun?
That's an unresponsible person.
Well, talking about guns, a Missouri lawmaker. I've heard about Missouri. Isn't Liz Reader from Missouri?
I believe so.
Votes against banning children from carrying guns in public. I mean... there was a bit of thingy there because he's voting against banning the guns.
So kids should have guns.
Kids should have guns. They should have AKs. They should have nunchucks, whatever they want. Crossbows.
They're practically getting rid of rules anyway, so the kids could do whatever they want anyway.
Are Civil War cannons okay?
Oh, I don't know. Sherman tank?
What about muskets?
A musket, fucking powerful then, no.
It's like my kids are, my kid's not just going to roll around with any gun. He's going to be like,
It wants to be a Rambo M60.
A stylish gun. Like, some sort of Dickensian musket.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, pirate.
Democrats who supported the proposal said police asked for the changes to be added. But they've got 14-year-olds carrying AR-15s.
What the fuck?
It's like that's exactly what you want in a country that has a fucking mass shooting every other Friday.
Wow, yeah.
What do you think about this? I mean, voting. Why should? There's a bill being for or against for kids to carry guns.
The kids should be against. For adults, they could have.
Yeah, I feel like that's fair. I've said about the idea and the responsibility of having a gun, and
obviously you got to be trained.
I would never turn around and say, as citizen, that you should have your freedoms taken away, and if one of your freedoms or your main freedom is that to bear arms, then I can't say anything about it. And the thing is that if they take one freedom, it's easy to take another and another.
Oh, they're talking about taking. So the first
it's a catch-22 situation. Don't make it worse, by just fucking making them available to anybody who wants one. I think you still need some sort of control on it.
But it's possibly
only one per child.
deliberately. So actually, dickheads do go out and do that. So the public would turn around and go, right, everyone's got to get rid of it.
Well, in Missouri, there's currently no age limit.
What?
There's no age minimum.
6-month-year-old.
Seriously, a baby out of the womb apparently is legal to carry a firearm and openly carry a gun in Missouri.
I was going to say, well, back in the day, it was hard to cock the fuckers back, but now it's easy now.
Do you want Mama to cock that for you?
I'll cock that.
Just get
Cock it on the table now.
Get that nice and cocked for kiddie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, it's only a matter of time before some dumbass gives the kid a gun and they shoot him in the face.
Yeah.
So, well done.
Or themselves.
Yeah, well,
and then they're going to be crying about it, and it's like, well, you put the rules in.
Guns don't kill people. Babies kill people because they've got no sense of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, a naked Georgia man gives chase after stealing an ambulance.
Why?
I love America. So basically, yeah. So this guy, he's got naked. He was arrested for allegedly stealing an ambulance and going for a joyride. Yeah.
Okay.
But he took control of the blue and white ambulance that witness alleged was driving erratically, with headlights off down the road. According to the sheriff's office, police said that he was seen performing burnouts in an emergency vehicle.
Okay.
So yeah, he was just having a bit of fun with it, wasn't he?
Yeah, it sounds like he was on something.
Oh, totally. He was butt naked.
Yeah.
Then the police were obviously called to the scene. Reportedly led to an officer's giving chase before he attempted to flee on foot.
Naked.
Butt naked.
Oh my day.
There you go. You know what I mean? It's like, according to the warrant obtained, the ambulance was, the man was fully naked in the vehicle, and on full view of the public.
Oh,
so obviously it's probably going to get some indecent exposure charges. The warrant also alleged that Barker appeared to be under the influence of cocaine and spice.
No, really?
Cocaine or spices is what it says. Spices. He was on a cocktail.
What about chutney?
Oregano.
Been sniffing too much chutney.
Sage and a bit of rosemary. Police were able to take him into custody. The naked suspect was he's 48 years old. The naked joyrider has an active warrant in 2 counties.
See, so it's not his first joyride then.
Yeah, well, he's been additionally charged with driving under the influence of drugs, public indecency, driving with a suspended license, violation of parole, and theft of taking and fleeing with an ambulance.
Fucking hell. He likes his driving.
That was a bad day, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I bet it was.
He's like, do you know what was I smoking last night?
Wake up in the sun, it's like, what the?
No, you'd wake up in the ambulance and go, am I all right?
It's
like, no, you stole this. Like,
where's the next pills?
Yeah, have you seen anything else that's pretty funny?
Well, we had a visit over here. We had Zelensky, is his name, the Ukraine president.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, considering he's in war, he's doing a bit of travelling about, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
I wondered that because he was in France the other day.
Yeah, he's trying to collect planes, isn't he, at the minute?
Oh, he's like, give me tanks, I want some tanks. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm just popping to England for some tanks.
Yeah, oh no, he wants F-16 now.
Oh, he doesn't want a lot, does he?
No. But Poland agreed that they were looking at giving some F-16s to him. But now they've actually turned around and said, like, they've only got 50. So if anything else kicks off, like that Russia decides to turn on them, then they've only got, a few. So they're looking at now asking Europe, which it'd have to be NATO. It's got to be NATO who has to put the agreement in. But the thing is, it takes 3 to 5 years to train the pilots. So it's one of them, like, go and get some old planes or something. But I don't think it's going to happen.
We're in a
now.
recession. It's like it's like when you get asked, like, have you got any change, and it's like, I'll check what I've got. I mean, I've only got this.
I've only got 5.
That's kind of what it's like. It's like you can have whatever you can fish from out of the couch. Yeah, like if you can fish a couple of quid out the couch, it's yours.
Sweet.
Yeah,
well, I
haven't got anything else. Yeah.
I've already had a look, so you'd be a lucky bugger if you find something.
Yeah, do you think, like, we can keep going funding wars that we're not involved in, apparently? I mean,
well, we are,
but we're trying to be seen not to be.
But NATO's supposed to be a defender, not an attacking force. Yet we've, for some reason, they've decided to make new fleets up for the sea. But it's not going to be a sea battle anyway.
You want to send Canada in? They'll sort them out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I think you might be right
with their new attitude of shooting shit down.
Yeah. Getting a bit cocky in the block.
Just trying to get them involved.
Yeah.
So I don't know with that. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about all that anyway at the moment. Yeah. Did you know it was the Super Bowl?
Is it?
Well, yeah, I think it's on Monday, isn't it?
Rihanna's on. I was watching something about it's going to take 13 minutes. She's going on halfway through. 13-minute stage, and then the lads and ladies have got to get rid of all that equipment and stage within 8 minutes.
Well, it was actually today.
Oh,
Super Bowl Sunday, wasn't it? Yeah, well, today's Super Bowl Sunday.
Yes,
so, I mean, well, we'll be putting this out today. So
yes,
it's the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, who do you reckon's going to win?
I don't know, honestly.
I'll go with the Chiefs.
I'll go with the Eagles.
Yeah,
just to keep it real.
Yeah.
I mean, the Super Bowl means that there's a lot of people partying.
Yeah.
What do you think the main concern is? When it's Super Bowl, do you think the police have a hard time trying?
Well, the police ain't going to be doing
enforce
shit as they haven't been doing for a long while now.
Well, apparently they have a problem with people shimmying up flagpoles. Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, yeah.
Which has led a company, an adult entertainment company, offering the city of Philadelphia
what?
1,540 gallons of lube. Yeah.
Go throw some KY at it.
Not just your normal average run-of-the-mill lube. This is cheese whiz infused.
Oh, good stuff then.
Yeah, this smells cheesy. You get so breezy. Yeah, but this is to prevent Eagles fans from climbing poles, flagpoles.
Well, they like cheese.
Anything like that during the Super Bowl. I don't know, maybe they shimmy up the pole so they can see the match.
Ah, yeah.
Do you know, outside the stadium?
But now they can play Mr. Fireman.
Well,
I'm going up there and play Fireman.
This Cam Soda said they sent a truck loaded with 28 drums of lube. Each containing 55 gallons is being sent to the city to prevent the famously rowdy fans from climbing the street lamp posts, utility poles, and other structures when their team wins or if their team wins on Sundays.
Trees? They're going to shove it on trees?
What's it going to go around spraying everything down like Ghostbusters 2?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I feel funky. It's like you're actually literally going to lube everything down so nobody can climb up anything. And then you've got to send someone out to wash the lube off.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a good idea to me.
Yeah, if the person went up the pole and fell down, broke his leg.
Oh, of course.
You've just earned some money for the government.
The city's going to get sued by the guy.
Well, yeah, but then hospital bills need to be paid. Who gets some money?
The guy, because he's going to sue the city for putting fucking lube up a pole. I mean, it was his fault for climbing it.
Yeah, but if they didn't
lube it, he wouldn't have fell.
Yeah, but if they didn't put lube on and he went up there anyway, which the case was because he was pissed and he wanted to have a look at the game and fell down, broke his arm.
Yeah.
He loses out.
It would be his fault. That'd be his fault. He fell off a pole. But if he...
So he'd be giving money to the government instead of taking money from the government.
I agree with that. Because if he went up lubed up and it fell off, then it's, government owing money for taking the piss, really, isn't it? For lubing it up in the first place. Why cheese whiz?
Like the smell.
I mean, I think,
cheese?
Philadelphia...
It's strong?
Philadelphia has, the Philly cheese steak, don't they? They have the Philly cheese steak sandwich, which is, one of their biggest, tourism.
Yeah, but ain't their cheese not cheese?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's cheese. This cheese whiz, American cheese.
But,
if they're going
to
smell the lube up to make it smell like one of the delicacies, then they might be more inclined to climb the pole.
You better hope no one's that pissed that you put two sandwiches between it and try and take a bite.
Starts licking poles all around Philadelphia.
Someone's going to lick the pole. You know someone's going to lick the pole.
Guys, if you're out watching the game tomorrow,
don't lick the
today
pole.
even,
or climb it.
just don't lick the pole.
Yeah, leave the pole alone, man.
It might smell nice. Later on. It might smell delicious. It might smell like cheese.
It might.
It might smell like a freshly made chili cheese sandwich or
chili all down your throat.
Cheese steak sandwich, but it's not worth it. No. Just don't do it. It's lube.
No, you put it on the button and you give it your mate.
Or you take some home and see if the missus is into the cheese.
She might like the smell.
You've always said my dick smelt cheesy.
Yeah,
now
it tastes
tastes like cheese whiz. Anyway, let's moving on.
Is that from a cow? Moving on.
Hey, don't, because we have a moose story.
You do?
I do, actually, yeah. It's science. And seriously, this is a Chinese scientist. Yeah. They've said they've been successful in cloning 3 super cows.
3 super cows?
One can fly, one can... got laser beams coming from his eyes. One can do ice breath, apparently. These are super cows. No, I'm only joking.
Oh, clever.
They are super cows in the sense that they're genetically modified. They can't do anything super, apart from produce 50% more milk than your average cow.
Yeah, but it's not natural milk.
The Avengers are fucking knocking doors down to get these on the team. Yeah, so... and I love the fact that it's like... it's Chinese scientists, and they're boasting that, their cows are capable of producing 50% more milk than the average American cow. So there's some propaganda there already.
Yeah.
The cloning experiment began last year. I didn't think you were allowed to clone things like this.
It's just been opened on it.
As this kind of like frivolously as they're doing. Yeah. So you've got 3 super cows that were cloned from the Northwest University of... or the Foundation of Science and Technology in China. Scientists sampled tissue from cows across China and created what they call a super cow from creating somax cells, nuclear transfer and nucleus transfer method of some description. Then they placed that egg and embryo into a surrogate cow, and then obviously with the baby creation. The calves were born healthy last month, they've made global headlines, weighing in at 120 pounds, standing 2.6 feet tall.
Fucking hell.
Super cows?
Nah, I think that's... Why are we going in that way? We're already trying to get rid of cows over in the West.
Well, apparently these calves will eventually produce 18 tons of milk per year, which is 100 tons of milk
now, let me ask you
in their lifetime.
Would you want to drink that?
No, not
if you
really.
Knew it come from there.
From a genetically modified, genetically. Well, I suppose. I mean,
if they started serving that in like in ice cream and like in butter,
well, they're gonna because I mean, at the end of the day, right? Business is business, and I might not agree
but it don't
with
make it right.
It doesn't make it right, and what I'm gonna say is that there'll be beef dealers, beef farmers. All over the world, rubbing their hands together because they can have half as many cows producing the same amount of milk, right? So that's half as many feeds they have to give them, half as many pens.
Yeah.
Halves their outgoing.
You've got beef burger at the end as well.
The halves are outgoing, and produces the same amount of milk.
Yeah,
or they carry on spending the same amount of money on keeping the cows, have twice as many cows, and have twice as much milk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So farmers, I'm assuming, will be like buzzing about this and thinking it's a great thing, if they're not thinking about the genetics of it all, because there are farmers who are kind of like a rough time of it
for a long time,
because it's that being torn between growing organic and growing GM and
the costs
and and stuff, and they find it more efficient to grow GM because there's less to go wrong. But then that kind of lends to the super cows. More farmers would be more interested in getting super cows for those reasons, because it's saving them money or getting them more product, which creates more money. Do you know? It's all about money.
It's a vicious circle, because if they get rid of the normal cows and bring these cows in, we're going to have to take it, aren't we, really? Which it's kind of what the industries do. not generally farmers, but other industries,
exactly.
force it on you where you've got no other option. You have to pay by card, not cash.
I mean, the thing with genetics, and we've talked about this, about like breeding out certain varieties, it's happened since like we've been eating. Yeah, so carrots.
Yeah, but it's
whatever's more appealing, but it was all a natural, selection and being able to weed out weaker varieties and genetically cross-pollinate. Yeah. Which is something totally different to cloning, right? Yeah. Which is science-based and laboratory-based. It's not the same thing, although we have been doing it for ever since we've had agriculture.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in one way, is it just the moving times and they're trying to produce more food for a growing population? Or is it kind of a bit too sci-fi for my liking? I can't really tell, to be honest. I'm not sure I drink it. Super milk.
No, I wouldn't drink it, but I think it's the same old problem that we all, and especially businesses, seem to have time after time after time. It is, if I don't do it, someone else is gonna. Yeah. And that seems to be like one of the biggest obstacles of like trying to sort out what we actually do need and what we don't need in this environment. Where we have the goods, get rid of the shit, but we can't because there's always going to be some knobhead in the corner getting rid of the shit, and it's going to be the cheaper, it's going to be the easier, it's going to be, and people in that category will have to, not want to, but have to go into that area.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. I found this story about a bottle. Do you know a bottle? Do you know messages in a bottle?
Oh yeah.
This is a bottle that was full of messages.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, it washed ashore on a Florida beach.
What was it, an orgy it come from?
Well, on Tuesday morning, a stroll along the sands of the beach.
Yeah.
Turned up a rare find for Ted Horton. He'll never forget it because he found what you'd call a message in a bottle.
Yeah.
He found lots of shells and sand and
shit in it.
Sand dollars he called them, and stuff like that. Normal stuff he'd find on the beach.
Oh yeah.
But the bottle appeared to be in excellent shape and no sign of like damage or anything like that.
Lucky.
There was a bit of wear and tear, but visibly through the glass were pieces of paper with apparent messages. Due to the apparent recent voyage, Horton quickly ruled out it being a type of leftover, debris from the Hurricane Ian or Nicole, do you know what I mean? Because obviously it had messages in it.
Yeah.
Horton took the bottle home, where he said he spent about an hour carefully trying to remove the messages without damaging the paper or the glass bottle. Each message was written on a piece of notepaper with the logo The Ritz-Carlton on. And Horton said none of the messages were dated, and they were only basically signed, and they weren't signed. None of them were signed by anybody who'd wrote them.
So just anonymous messages.
So after reading each message, Horton returned to the bottle and added his own note, and then basically where he found and dated like his note. And then, so I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm pretty sure he's just put a note in. Yeah. And then they basically went down and put it back in.
Well, yeah, fair enough. Share it out. You know what I mean? If you send it to the next person.
Sorry. He originally planned to release the bottle not far from where he lives, which is a beach fishing pier. And he figured the ocean currents would, not pull the bottle out to sea.
Yeah.
So he devised a plan with the help of his neighbour. So he goes, gets in a boat. They recently regularly go out on the boat.
Yeah.
So they went out, found, like an area where, the good currents were on the GPS and stuff like that, and threw it back in. Fair enough. As for what was on the messages, Horton said he was going to keep it a secret. He believes what the original senders would have wanted.
What? Oh, so it must have been some dirty jokes or something.
Who knows what it was, but, he believes the messages were written by a father, a mother, two sisters, and were addressed to loved ones and said who had recently passed away. So, basically, they were... I think it was some sort of like memorial. So like they've each
yeah,
wrote a message to a loved one, put them in the bottle, and they threw the bottle out to sea as a farewell.
Enough,
And this guy's found it, and obviously
his own little message.
He's added his own message.
I found
rather
it. I'm
than,
sending it along.
Exactly. Rather than kind of keep hold of it.
Yeah.
He's decided that he was going to add to it and throw it back in, and I thought that was really quite nice.
Yeah,
so,
that's
well
a
done,
nice
Mr.
story,
Horton. Have you got anything else you want to discuss? I've only got one or two more stories.
I've just got one NASA.
I've got this one, right, about a Texas man who was arrested for stealing 2 monkeys from a Dallas zoo.
What?
He said he'd do it again too if he gets released.
On him or what?
Seriously, he says he'll do it again. What is this? I mean, why are people going so crazy? This is a 24-year-old man who's linked with unusual string of crimes that keeps Dallas Zoo on the lookout for missing animals. So he told the police that after swiping 2 monkeys from their enclosure, he took them into the city light rail system and made his getaway. So he took the train, like he got
with 2 monkeys.
With 2 monkeys. He said he's an animal lover, and that's if he and when he's released from jail, that he'd do the same and steal more.
That's illegal, mate.
So
it's illegal. Stop it.
Well, Ivan, who remains in jail. On Tuesday had to pay a $25,000 bond. Was arrested last week for asking questions at a downtown Dallas aquarium.
What you fishing like?
So you know what I mean. He's
got any big ones?
He's scoping all the animal places.
He's a bit of a ruthless cunt, isn't
he? So he's been charged with 6 counts of animal cruelty, 2 counts of burglary. The list of kind of
burglary there.
Crimes is just numerous. But I mean, Irving told the police that on the night of January 29th, he waited until dark, jumped over the fence into the zoo grounds, cut the metal mesh to the enclosure, took 2 emperor Taramane monkeys, and made his escape.
And admitted it.
Yeah, he said he'd do it again. Like I say, he was obviously he's one to watch.
Yeah, he'd be not allowed to go in his zoos no more.
Irving the monkey thief. Dallas police tweeted out, with the help of the Leicestershire Police or Lancaster Police Department, we've located the 2 missing monkeys that had been stolen from the Dallas Zoo at an abandoned home in Lancaster. Pictured one of the animals still inside the closet of the house. A monkey has been returned to the zoo.
Okay.
So there was a picture of.
What was he going to do with him?
Of the monkey in its
that's what I
closet.
Want to know. What I'm going to go. I'm going to go and deliver him back where they come from.
Well, this is the thing. Plane? I mean, it's like he's been charged with quite a few, 2 of the really odd events, over the last couple of weeks, revolving around zoos. I mean, I wonder where this has come from. But I mean, obviously, an animal lover.
Yeah.
He's been charged now with animal cruelty. So, I mean, that's kind of like a bit...
Ironic.
It's a bit of a shit sort of end to his
But then again, when they're that passionate for to release animals and that...
This is the thing, they don't think about when they release them and they just run into fucking highways and main roads and stuff.
Tigers and
it's like, whatever, the kids are being mauled by tigers.
There's a reason why they're in there, and it's also for... it stops us going out there and looking... at them in the wild.
True that, actually. I mean, you would because that's the only opportunity you'd have to see them. Really,
although it'd be good trade for some countries, but there's animals are getting extinct every year.
Well, that's
there's
true.
So
actually.
many that
apparently there
going.
Was a penguin that has been extinct, and they've discovered that it would have been an absolute beast.
Oh, right.
Would have been a massive, actually, one of the biggest birds known to the planet.
And they've actually found some fish and some other animals that they believed that was extinct that have actually come back. There's only a small few, but, It's one of them, like...
talking about animals and animal cruelty and all the rest of it, you're just like, he's been done for animal cruelty.
Yeah.
There's a news story come out of Russia this week.
All right.
That wives of Russian soldiers killed in Ukraine...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, are getting compensation from the Russian government of a brand new fur coat.
Fuck, is that it?
Serious?
Oh, my
It's like, we are sorry you lost your husband, but you can have a chinchilla coat that make you warm. It's nice.
Well, Siberia is cold.
Well, there was a clip shared by the CHTD Telegram news channel, which said women were in Russia basically to get their coats. Widows were given 21 fur coats as compensation for the breadwinners who died in the Ukraine.
That's some bullshit.
So, I'm sure they're all really, really thrilled with that.
Because the country's making money as well.
I think holding up the garments and smiling, one of the women addressed the camera. We've received some unexpected help today, she said, adding that the widows of the dead soldiers had gained something valuable by
we all know who the widows will be, won't we? Because they'll be the ones who will be wearing the fur coats.
True, yeah. Oh, it's like it'll be a fucking war heirloom.
That's what I mean. It's like,
this was fur coat given to your granny after Yusuf died.
Human, you know what I mean? They treat human like the cheap.
Cheap.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's had a bad day after enough cocaine to supply Australia for the whole year was found floating in the Pacific.
Oh, someone had a bad day. Yeah,
someone definitely had a bad
day.
With a grand stash of 3.5 tons of cocaine.
One of the biggest marks.
All with Batman logos on.
You're joking, Batman.
No. Batman logos on was found floating around.
Aquaman.
Yeah, true, actually. Yeah, it's Aquaman's stash. Batman's a billionaire, mate. He can afford to lose a bit of cocaine.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
It's like that's how he keeps going all through his double identity.
Yeah, now we know. Now we know why he's 10 men.
So this is floated around 6 days after sailing from New Zealand, so I'm assuming that's where it's come from.
Yeah.
So the police have seized 3.5 metric tons of cocaine that had been floating in the Pacific Ocean, worth hundreds of millions of dollars, which officials are calling the biggest drugs bust in New Zealand's history ever.
And none of it went missing.
Yeah, no, they didn't even have to bust anyone. They didn't bust anyone, that's the thing.
Yeah.
But the Batman packs, 81 of them, were tied to a series of nets and buoys. So they were obviously there waiting for somebody to come and collect.
Yeah, something's gone wrong, hasn't it? And it sounds like something's gone wrong. Maybe they had a bag underneath the...
So the 81 packages were found floating what the police believe to be a transit point where they were meant to be picked up by smuggling gangs and taken off onwards into Australia. So somebody didn't turn up on time.
Or the bag ripped before they got there.
Bag ripped. There was 81 bags. 81
big bags.
Parcels,
yeah. But all you could put that in a massive bag, connect something, drop it down, anchor it.
So the stash branded with Batman, the black 4-leaf clover logo represents about a year's worth of consumption in Australia.
Okay, now.
So there's going to be a lot of people going, can't get any coke.
yeah. There's going to be a coke rush there. Know where the dealers are going next.
Never mind. Oh, well. You have a week off. You'll be right.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it then. We got some NASA news.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Well, there's been a strange beam of green light being seen over a wire, and they believed it was one of NASA's satellites, which actually check out the ice and the forest. How far the ice is going out and how good the forest is at the moment. So NASA believed that was them, but then they've just announced now that it wasn't from them, and they don't know where this light's come from. And it looks like Matrix. The Matrix, the film.
Yeah.
That them green lines going across, but fast, just going straight across the island. And it was picked up by a Japanese observatory and reported it, and no one knows where this has come from at all. It's a bit strange, but to me, I possibly think it could be Russia. And the reason why is because Russia had a fighting force out there not that long ago that had to be pushed out of the way. And if you were to attempt to attack America, you would attack, the small islands first.
Right, okay, fair enough.
That's what my opinion is. But we really still don't know what it was. But it was weird and it was fast as well.
Well, if you know what it was, you can let Taylor know.
Yeah.
Whatever it was weird and it was fast. Sounds a bit like you.
Yeah.
Hey! Sorry, I've got a bit of a runny nose there. Do you know Oumuamua?
Yes, I do.
Well, there's some big story about Oumuamua, yeah, right? So basically saying that potentially that it could be made up of stuff that they don't really know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, because this kind of metal surrounding.
Yeah, well, they're basically saying, is it a space rock or flashy alien technology? They want to find out, and they said they're going to. I don't know, but there's a thing here. Basically, a paragraph here says, imagined retailers are imagined realities are addictive metal drugs. This is what I mean. It starts off really weird, this article. So, I mean, I'm not sure where they're going with this. But they're saying it's psychedelic drug that can ease pain and make different situations more tolerable. They can bring communities and with a shared spiritual belief and all this, yeah. What? And it's are they trying to say that this space rock could actually be some sort of compound that could get you... could cure all ills. I don't know. What are they trying to say?
It's gone back out into the solar system.
Well, this is what they're saying. Science is filled with, obviously, with a lot of different realities and imagined ways things could be. Yeah. Nature's one version of a reality, that we can understand. Most possible ones are scientific methods and pioneered by Galileo. Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that kind of we kind of take for granted as reality is just that it's been there that long. We know what it is. Yeah. And it goes back to what we were talking about before about basis comparison.
Yeah.
So to know that this item Oumuamua has come out, it's an interstellar object.
Yeah, that's right. It was the first recorded one.
So
and then there was a second one.
The possibilities, just like the story we covered tonight, has many different, possibilities. It could be any one of these things, I think. And this is what I think they're getting at with the, being imagined realities are addictive metal drugs where, you've got all these different things that they could possibly be. Until we know what it is for sure, we couldn't tell you for Adam
until we grab one.
So, we'll
have to wait for the next one to come out and grab it.
So whether there's more evidence to indicate that there's actually anything to this, such as any sort of are we going to be able to get samples? Or it really sounds really weird. This I'm going to have to read a bit more into that one.
Yeah, I think. I don't think we could do very much on it now. We've had certain information off it, metal content and stuff like that, temperatures and all that kind of stuff. But and it was years ago now. You know what I mean? Are we going to catch up to the fuck, or are we going to wait for the next one to come through?
Maybe,
and try something.
Try and catch it.
Yeah.
Well, we are going. Well, no, it's not about that. We are going out there. This is my next story. The European scientists are in the final stage of preparation for one of the most ambitious space projects ever undertaken.
All right.
And launching a 12-year mission into the outer solar system to investigate whether the 3 Jupiter moons might actually support life.
Oh, yes.
So the European Space Agency have sunk 1.6 billion into the JUICE spacecraft, which will launch in April, carrying 10 scientific instruments that will be used to detect different techniques and observations, around...
planet. The moon.
Sorry, is it Ganymede and Callisto? Yeah, right. And Europa, which are the moons around Jupiter.
Europa's the best the best chance, I think.
And it's the largest planet in the solar system, so the moons are quite big. And obviously, if they can sustain life, then that's a pretty kind of thing. Because Jupiter's a gas giant anyway. Can you land on Jupiter, do you think?
No.
At all? So you just pass right through it?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
You'd probably hit liquid.
Well, the mission will go to, examine Jupiter's complex physical chemistry and environment. And the planet is a gas giant, like I say, so mostly compounds of composed of hydrogen and helium.
And the winds, you won't be able to get through it, man.
But obviously, they might be able to find clues into how it formed, and obviously, all this other stuff.
Well,
it has got quite a lot of moons. Yeah, you were saying last week.
12 more moons on there.
So it's got like icy moons to explore, obviously to help scientists access weather. Living up there might be a fucking possibility one day.
Yeah, we need to
see how the habitability. Can't speak. I feel like I'm getting a nose thing.
Tongue twist.
Yeah, tongue twisted and runny nose. And anyway, so it's habitability. Yeah, right. And see what the crack is up there. So yeah, we never know what's going to happen.
Oh yeah, we've got to have a little look, haven't we?
The thing is, we'll all be gone by the time any of this happens anyway, so they'll be looking back going, hey, this is historical. Remember when they said it?
Yeah.
Well, he said it. Anyway, right. Well, there's my NASA news. Have you got anything else to add?
No, that's a shirt from me.
Well, I'll call it a night as well then. Yeah. If you've enjoyed the show, let us know. Give us a shout at neverastraightanswer@gmail.com or neverastraightanswer.co.uk, where we've got a contacts page. You can get in touch with us there. We're on social media at Instagram and Twitter. Facebook and wherever else you go, we're on there. Not TikTok though. We don't do TikTok.
No, we don't do TikTok.
We're available on all the podcast platforms.
We are on
iTunes, Spotify, wherever you go. We're there. Just give us a search and subscribe.
Yes.
We're available on YouTube. There's some video stuff up there. We posted some new videos last week, so go and check those out.
And we got we're looking at more videos coming your way.
Oh, we've got plenty of stuff coming your way, so make sure you don't miss that by ringing that notification and subscribing. Yeah. Just do it.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week.
We will.
And we've got another interesting topic for you. I'm a bit tired today, so I apologise if it's been a bit...
Yeah, it's been a long week, man.
But yeah, it has been a long week. But we're neither to say, that we don't still put the effort in.
Yeah.
Try to, anyway. Yeah. We'll catch you next time anyway. I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
We'll see you soon. Peace.
Out.